mean bag. Sardines! 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 What bag?
No bag.
No bag.
Your bag. Suddenly here, now gone.
It's in the bedroom. It was in the bedroom. I put it in the bedroom. I'll put it back in the bedroom.
No, don't go in there.
The box!
The box?
They've both not gone. Where is Mrs. Spratchett? You! Wait in the bedroom.
No.
Well, let's put your dress on.
No, go in there.
I'll fetch it for you.
Yes, quick. Let's get out of here.
Your dress has gone.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining me. Oh my God, first of all, that is hilarious. We'll get into that. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining me and my very special guest. You know her from such Broadway musicals as Wicked and 9 to 5, and from TV Smash, and most recently from the Lifetime movie Patsy and Loretta. Please say hello to my friend, Megan Hilty.
Hey!
How hilarious was that watching you from that clip from Noises Off?
Do you know, I've never seen that before. I've never seen any part of it. That's so crazy. I was so young then.
Oh my gosh. That
very...
was so physical. I mean, not only what you had to wear, but talk about physical comedy. What was it like doing that production of Noises Off for you?
Well, it started like a long time before we actually went into rehearsal because I knew I had to be in my underwear less than a year after having my first child. Yeah. So talk about physical stuff. Like I went on a really regimented diet and exercise routine that I will probably never do again. But so it started months before I actually did it. And then doing the show, yes, was extremely physically taxing, but it was so much fun. That cast was incredible.
Yeah. What a workout you got. I mean, from the second you all entered the stage till the curtain call, you were like, there you go. It's called the Noises Off workout.
Well, yeah. And it was also mentally exhausting because, oh gosh, during, you do the show 3 different ways per show. And there's so many cues backstage that are different from the first act to the second act. And so doing a 2-show day, standing backstage, if your mind wandered at all, you're like, oh, what am I doing? Have I done this before? I feel like I've already done this before. Oh God. And if you screw up a whole sequence of stuff for the people on stage. It was mentally and physically exhausting, but it was so much fun.
Did you ever go to the White Room? I've spoken to all the Hamilton cast that have gone to the White Room during Hamilton, during Noises Off. Did you ever go there during this? Or was it before?
I went to the White Room in Wicked because I did the show for 4.5 years. Yeah. And so once you do it for a while, especially, I don't know the time mark, but someone explained to me that at some point your brain puts the line, it shifts from short-term memory to long-term memory. And so your brain just kind of, it's not like you're phoning in the show or anything, but during that process, your brain is like, wait, what is happening? I have no idea what comes next. Yeah.
Well, first of all, how are you and Brian and the family, and where are you all?
We're doing well. We're in LA. I keep telling people I refuse to complain, even though it is intense and it can be difficult, but we are healthy. We can pay our bills for the time being. And I mean, we're extremely privileged and lucky in that. So I'm trying to keep focusing on that instead of it's so hard with little kids, it is what it is, but we are healthy. So we're good.
Yeah. Well, I think we're in our 134th day of quarantine. I mean, that's which is nothing.
Yeah.
Sometimes it feels like yesterday and sometimes it feels like a year ago. And I was wondering, how are you dealing and how are you handling the quarantine as it progresses? Was it harder in the beginning with the kids and how did you explain to the kids what was going on?
Well, with Ronan's 3, so he doesn't care. He just thinks it's awesome that we're all here all the time. In the beginning, it was a pretty intense switch because I went from traveling every week to go do live performances. So those are two things that are off the table immediately.
Yeah.
Traveling, live performances, gone. To becoming a kindergarten teacher. I mean, essentially, my daughter's teachers are incredible, and they switched to online learning, and they did it so well, like really quickly. But at the same time, I'm in charge of getting her to do her work. And in kindergarten, she's learning how to read. She's learning basic math skills. Like these are the fundamental building blocks for her education. So I started to feel a lot of pressure, trying to get it right and I'm so out of my wheelhouse. I had so much respect for teachers before, but now, I mean, it's incredible how much I respect them now. And on the flip side, it's really wonderful that I get to actually see these major milestones. I get to watch her learn how to read. Like that's wild. And of course, I would have helped her before, but she would have done all of this work with her teachers at school. So I get to witness a lot of that cool stuff too. So that's why I keep saying it's intense. There's really difficult times and then there's really cool, joyful times too.
Yeah, because I just read a tweet of yours that said, teachers deserve more respect, money, and love. And when I read that, I said, ooh, she must be teaching and homeschooling at home now. It must have just begun for Megan.
Oh, yeah. No, so that feeling started March 15th, I believe, 15th or 16th, when, the first day that we were like trying to figure this out. And it's only grown since then. And with all of this conversation about how to appropriately go back to school, my main concern is for our teachers.
Yeah.
I just want to protect them. They are the ones that protect and take care of and help our children grow. So we need to step up and really take care of them too.
That's beautiful, because one of my sisters is a teacher, and every day a plan is laid on the table, and then someone says, no, it's not safe. It's not safe. This is not going to work. It's like everyone's going to have to go back, and you can't put children's lives at risk just because you want to open a country or something like that. So it must be really stressful for you deciding on what you want to do.
Yeah, I think the most stressful thing is the in-between, so let's just make a plan and execute it as best as we can. So if we put in place that we're going to do distance learning, now we have time to make sure that the kids who don't have internet access or computers or anything, let's take care of them now. Let's figure it out now instead of scrambling when we have this, I don't know. I just feel like let's not waste time. Let's use our time to take care of everybody and make sure that we're all going to do the best in this crazy, crazy situation.
Yeah, because like I told you, our mutual friend Cheyenne Jackson kicked off my home virtual series as soon as the pandemic began. He said, I have to do it early in the day, Richie, but I have to do it right after I teach school. So he dresses the kids every day in their little school clothes or whatever, takes them to their little schoolhouse. So you have a little schoolhouse too on your property, right?
We do. I keep mentioning that, I feel extremely privileged. I know, not a lot of people, we don't have a giant house or anything. It's a very, very small, modest house, but we do have a converted garage that we use as a little guest house area when our friends and other actors come to stay. And immediately when this happened, we decided that we would keep our same structure. We wake up at the same time. We eat breakfast. We brush our teeth. We put on our school clothes. We pack our bag and our lunch. And we go out to our little converted guest house that is right outside our door. But it's a separate space. And we outfitted it as much as we could so that she knew that when we go in there, we learn. And then when we come back here, we relax. Again, I recognize that not everybody is fortunate enough to have two separate spaces, as small as they may be. They're separate, and we're able to keep that kind of structure. And yes, early in the day, I've found that's when we can get this stuff done. And then after lunch, everything just falls apart.
So I was going to ask you, are your kids getting into your high heels? What's happening at home?
Yes. Oh yeah. I mean, I try to keep them up and away from them as far as possible. But yes, my daughter and my son love to just teeter-totter around and threaten a trip to the emergency room because of it.
No, because you were saying that your son is a little smaller, so he'll be playing with Batman and wandering around in a pair of your heels.
Oh yeah. No, he's like this wonderful combination of like superheroes and Elsa, like he'll be fully outfitted in an Elsa costume and heels and stuff, and then just like fighting with this little action figures.
I think it's great that kids are just so fluid nowadays. It's just a little bit of whatever, finding their own. And like I said, it must be really great, even though the pandemic is going on, it must be great for you and Brian to be at home. Just like Cheyenne said, just these are crucial years in a child's life, to be with their family, to watch them grow and change and turn into these little people.
Yeah, it's amazing because, that's one of the silver linings for sure, is that now I get to witness these major milestones. It's really, it's great. It's intense, but we have to make the active choice to like look for the positive, because it's really easy to look at the news and slip into something else. Yeah.
Because you guys are like me. I'm really positive. I stay as focused and positive as I possibly can. But I always feel like you're like teetering on like eggshells every day because of that uncertainty of, when everything, we're all A-type personalities because of the business we work in and want to be perfect at what we do, or as perfect as we can be. So there's always that underlying uncertainty with not knowing when the world's going to open again, when theater's going to return. So do you sort of feel the same way?
Absolutely. I mean, arguably that's our business though too. As actors and performers, we never really have any kind of job security, or we never really know what's happening next. But now that nothing is going to happen, like that's why, like, I'm so, when this opportunity to do Seth Rudetsky's show came up, I was like, absolutely.
Yeah.
When I don't know when the next time I'm going to be able to sing live with another musician for a live audience. I don't think people understand how awesome that is too. That I don't think people really understand that it's live. He's in New Jersey, I'm in Los Angeles, and they've figured out a way to connect it so there's no lag. And you're going to get a live experience. Sorry, I've already hopped to Seth's show.
No, I want to because I want to tell everybody that this Sunday night, July 26th at 8 p.m., you will be live, and then a replay on Monday, July 27th at 3 p.m. doing your virtual online concert with Seth Rudetsky as part of his concert series. I mean, this is the new now. What can your fans expect?
A little bit of everything. We've been rehearsing all week and making sure the technical stuff is all good and stuff. And I love my shows with Seth because, I mean, I have a general idea of what's going to happen, but not really. And I have a feeling he doesn't really either. Like he has a general idea, but then what's magical about him is he has such an immense knowledge of musical theater, and he can just say, oh, that's right, you can do this, hey, why don't you sing this? And like the unexpected always happens. He loves to get me to do every type of music, classical, pop, country, standard music theater. Like he loves to get me all over the place, and he always pulls out the really interesting stories that I would have never thought to have told. Just because he knows like the inner workings of Broadway, and he knows to ask those questions, So I'm really, like, yesterday we had a big rehearsal, and I was like, can this show be like 4 hours long? I would really like this. Like I could do this all day. Like the show could be just this, like, oh, try this. Yeah. And some of the time it is. So yeah, there's definitely stuff from Smash. There's stuff from Wicked. There's stuff from Patsy and Loretta. There's like, the greatest hits. And I'm also, I don't know if I'm going to sing a new song for the very first time. I've always wanted to sing Back to Before from Ragtime. Oh. And I've never done it. And I was like, well, why not now? Why not? So we practiced it yesterday, and I was like, oh, it works. We can do it.
Yeah.
You know, I still have to practice a little bit before then. So it'll be the very first time I've ever sung it in front of humans.
That is sensational. You also reached out to your fans for sort of requests, which I thought was really great.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, they're the ones that are going to be watching. So let me know what you want to hear. So yeah, we took all of that into account and most of it's in there. So at least I think I'm not in control. So yeah.
How excited are you? I mean, this is the new now, how we're doing these things.
I'm so excited. I'm because, you know, to be very honest, I have no idea when I'm going to be back doing my concerts live and in person. Yeah. And I will be so grateful for that day when it actually does. But until then, thank goodness that Mark Cortale and Seth Rudetsky and their amazing technical team have figured this out so that we can bring live performances to people at home.
Yeah. You know, I see that there's a contest connected to your concert. I think it's called the Seth Sing Off Megan Hilty Edition. What is that?
So he's getting people to sing parts of Let Me Be Your Star. And I believe they're going to sing on the show. Like they'll show their recording and then I'll sing the song too. Yeah. So that'll be really fun.
Yeah, so I think what it is people can post a 30-second or 60-second clip of themselves singing Let Me Be Your Star on Instagram with the hashtag Seth Sing Off Megan Edition. The cutoff is tonight, Friday at 11:59 Eastern Standard Time. This is going to be amazing because I think Seth is announcing them, the winner on the show. We'll show it, and that winner wins one free ticket to the next 3 of the Seth concert series. I think I'm going to enter. I think I want to enter.
Oh my God. I want to hear you sing from a Beer Star. People, the entries are really great too. We were listening to some of them, really great. So yeah.
That is wonderful. Well, the Seth concert series is produced by Mark Cortale and is sponsored by Broadway World and StreamYard. Tickets for the concert are available at Broadway World Events and SethConcerts.com. And they're only $25. I know where I'm going to be on Sunday and where I'm going to be on Monday, just so you know. Did you pick an outfit yet?
No, I haven't. I'm kind of agonizing over it. So I think I can say that I'm taking over the Broadway World Instagram. I believe it's either tomorrow or Sunday, probably Sunday. But I'm gonna try to. It'll be part of my stories, trying to figure out what I'm wearing, what the backdrop will be. It'll probably be a ball gown. I know nobody will see it, but I'll feel it. So yeah. So I'll be choosing all of that live in front of people in the Instagram.
Oh, I love that. I know where I'm going to be, watching your live Broadway World Instagram. Where are you going to shoot it? In the living room? Like, where's your like TV studio in your home to do this concert from?
Yeah, I've never filmed I filmed all over the house so far, but I never really filmed in the living room, but that's where the best internet is. So that's where I want to be. And so I'm dressing it. Like I might even show everybody because it'll look really great on the computer. And then if you step back and look at it, it's just a bunch of rigged stuff, like.
Oh, you've got to show that. That's how it's all done.
Oh yeah, no, I have like a big backdrop thing that I'll be hanging curtains from and ordered flowers and stuff. And then like you'll pan back and it's just surrounded by toys and, craziness.
Okay, I see your husband, Brian, now being a set decorator, stage manager, all the above.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. And most importantly, he's the bartender. He's he's supplying us with the liquid courage for it all.
Oh, it's going to be sensational. Both you and your husband, Brian, have lent your voices and your talents so beautifully during this pandemic, especially with those beautiful little music videos, especially Rainbow Connection. I mean, I watch it all the time. My family does. I have fans. I have people watching this everywhere. They're so calming and so soothing. If my friends have a bad day, I'm like, watch Megan and Brian do Rainbow Connection. Oh,
that's so sweet. Yeah, it's our family song, like so many families, we sing it multiple times a day. Yeah. And we were sending that video as a comfort video for many of the medical professionals, specifically at Mount Sinai, where my daughter was born. And And Vi, we asked her if she wanted to sing in it, and she was like, "No, I'm feeling very shy today." And we're like, "Fine, that's great." I don't really like her to be on my social media anyway. I feel uncomfortable about it, but we were filming it, and of course, I mean, she can't go anywhere because we're babysitting, and Rona was napping. And she, when she walks in, like, we weren't really expecting her to come in. That's why it kind of looks like, are you doing this? Okay, well, now she's here. But yeah, that was a really sweet, and we're going to do a bunch more. And they're all for different charities, but we're going to post on our social media too, just in case it brings anybody some joy or comfort, you know.
Well, I want to let you know that it has already brought so much joy and comfort to so many people. So I want to thank you personally for that.
Yeah, our pleasure. What else are we doing?
Now, any showbiz aspirations with the kids yet?
My daughter, I try not to make a big deal out of it because I don't want her to like get weird about it, but her pitch is crazy. And she'll pick up a song after like one time learning it. I do a lot of animation, so I'm constantly learning new songs and stuff to sing, to record. And so I'll be learning them, and then she'll pick up on it and she'll be singing it the next day. You know, like it's really, it's awesome. But I try not to make a big deal out of it because I don't want her to be like, oh yeah, this is this is what I do. Or yeah.
But just so you know, it's there.
It's there. My son, on the other hand, it takes us a while to figure out that he is singing, because it just kind of sounds like yelling, and it's very different in a key of his own. Yeah, it takes us a while but so he's following a different path.
I love that. Well, you know, then you and Kat McVie and Shoshana Bean. Shoshana's going to be with me next Wednesday live.
Oh, fantastic.
Here on my show.
Yeah.
I love the Shoshana. So let's talk about the three of you getting together to sing the Andrew Lloyd Webber Love Trio for AIDS Walk NYC for GMHC. How incredible was that?
I mean, it didn't feel incredible doing it because I mean, you said we got together to do it. Nothing about this was together with anybody. I mean, it was all in isolation going, I hope I'm not singing too loud. I hope I'm cutting off at the right place. I don't really know. You know, when Eric Bergen approached us to do it, you know, of course, everybody knows that epic trio, you know, and so it was kind of a no-brainer. And the cause, of course, yeah, I'm there. What do you need? So, yeah, it was a no-brainer, but it was a bit of a like, I hope this all looks and sounds good when it's put together, and Eric pulled it all together. So yeah, I'm really, really happy and proud to be a part of it.
Well, like I said, anybody watching, please go on the internet, watch their Love Trio, and donate. I mean, the nice thing, you know, even if you could donate $1 to the Actors Fund or any of these Broadway Cares, any of these wonderful organizations, watch the magic that all this talent is making. But, you know, when you watched it after it was done, you must have been like, wow, we were good.
I was very pleasantly, not that I was surprised, but it was pretty remarkable that it came together the way that it did. I mean, after not rehearsing together, like there were a lot of things, especially like the dynamics, you know, they lowered it because they didn't want it to be as like epic. And so for my stuff, it made it really like the dynamics shifted a little bit from the first in like as it was intended. So I was like, I don't know, but I don't know how to sing this note without being loud. I don't want to be the only loud one. I don't know. But it worked out.
It's flawless. It's wonderful. And it's all done in the editing now. This is the new now, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, you have such a beautiful career. You work on stage, film, TV, recording, animation, concerts. Let's chat about some of the highlights and just tell me what comes to mind, a great story or a memory. You know, many people were going to make their Broadway debuts this spring, and then, of course, the pandemic hit. Yeah. I mean, I had the 6 I had 3 of the 6 queens from the musical Six on the week after they were supposed to make their debut, and they were supposed to make their Broadway debuts the night of the actual shutdown. So, you know, there was so much disappointment. I hope they all get to make them when they come back.
Yeah.
But Broadway debuts only happen once. They're magical. What do you remember about your Broadway debut as Glinda in Wicked?
Oh my
What was
God.
that?
So I was the standby. So I you know,
Yeah.
I was just out of college and I was the standby for Glinda in on Broadway, and I had 2 hours notice, and so I ran to the theater. I remember because I was on the Upper West Side. I was putting together my one woman show at Ars Nova, and so I was rehearsing up there, and I got a call saying you're on tonight. So I had 2 hours. I went straight to the theater and panicked in Jennifer Laura Thompson's dressing room, and Idina Menzel walked in. This is how long ago this was, and she was like, "Hey, is there anything you want to go over or anything you want to do?" And I was like, you know, I was like totally panicking. And she did something I will never forget, and I tell the story all the time. She came up to me. She was like, "You know what? Let's just go out there and make the show our own tonight." And we'll never forget that, because she could have come in there and been like, "Hey, at this point, I need you to stand here. I need you to say this line like this. Oh, by the way, maybe we should sing through for good," you know, or something like that. And she didn't. Instead, she gave me something that was like a huge gift, and that was just to play with her. You know, she gave me the permission to just go and be present with her and not worry about all of the other stuff, because I was worried about so much else. So I made my Broadway debut in a bubble, opposite Idina Menzel in Wicked, and it is something I will never forget.
Do you remember anything about the night?
I do. I remember, because I can't remember who said it, but they were like, just try to keep stopping to take it in, like don't let it just fly by. And I remember For Good being very emotional and feeling like I'd actually gone through something with Idina and the whole cast. Because, you know, that's a lot of trust that you put in other people, and likewise. So that was, I remember singing For Good and knowing, like, for me at least, it was incredibly meaningful. Yeah, that's basically what I remember. And there's a picture that one of my friends took where, like, we're coming out for our bows, and I'm like, ah! I remember, like, coming out with that and going, we did it! And nobody got hurt. It's so great.
Everybody I speak to says they remember starting the show, and then they take their bow and they're like, we got through it. I didn't knock anybody over.
Somehow, yes.
Do you remember being up in the bubble? Because that's got to be a strange thing, because you're in that bubble like 10 minutes before the show, or when do they take you up into the bubble?
Yeah, I think it's about 10 minutes before the show. But so on Broadway, when I was there a million years ago, my favorite thing about being in the bubble before the show was that so you have all the curtains up there. You're up there literally hanging out with all the curtains. And there is one little teeny tiny, like, square where the curtains don't match up, and you see one seat. You see one person in the seat right before the show, and I would always watch them. And, like, if it was a hard day or something, I'd be like, this show's for you. You know, like, there was one time that I thought somebody saw me. There's no way they could have, but I always peeped that person, and it was kind of a really great reminder, you know, of why we're doing this. Like, it's impact people, you know, with the stories that we're telling. And so it was always like, there you are. I see you. Like, I see you. You're out there, and this is for you.
Oh, I love that. Because I've asked all the Glindas, like, what do you do up there? Now, you got to tour across the country in 2 different companies of Wicked. You've had lots of Elphabas. Who were some of your Elphabas you worked with?
I had 17 Elphabas.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but who's counting, right? I did one day and I wrote down all their names. Gosh, they're all incredible. Here's the thing about all of these 17 women They're all incredibly talented. You have to be to do that role. And they're all amazing people off stage too. I'm really close friends with a lot of them still. You know, I was lucky enough to be with Idina, Eden, Saquon, Brandy, Siobhan Massey, Casey Levy, Teal Wicks. I know I'm forgetting a whole.
Oh no, I know. I did. Yeah, I mean, wow, 17.
But there were 17 of them, understudies, standbys, you know, and they were all just phenomenal talents and people as well.
That's fabulous.
I said Shoshana. Oh. Yeah, that's. I mean, that's why I'm like, I hope I'm not forgetting it. Like,
I didn't mean to put you on the spot with this.
Really impactful.
That's crazy. I can't wait to ask Shoshana again about her first performance. I think she flew out of the door and like slid it like all the way downstage.
That was me. So that wasn't the first show. Well, maybe she did on her first show, but in one of my shows, I kept getting the note that, you know, when Elphaba runs on and then Glinda's supposed to see her and then like back off. I kept saying, it looks like you're like presenting her. You have to like wait till she's in your peripheral vision and then look and then go, oh, and back off. I was like, all right, okay, fine. I'm trying to work on this note. And this night, this green thing whizzes past. And I'm like, is she there? Is she? I don't know. I don't want to like present her. So I don't know if she's there. And I looked and she wasn't there. The door was open. She had run right into the pit. I mean, the stage is at a rake. So it's like at an angle like this. So she's running from here downstage. And she just ran straight into the pit. She's standing on the net that is only supposed to hold props. So that it's protecting the band, like the orchestra from props. And she's standing on that. And I remember just like helping her up and then like backing away. And people that were seeing the show that night didn't like thought it was a part of the show. We were like, what part of running into the pit makes sense for an entrance? Anyway, that was with me. At least that time. There could have been others, but
no, that was Shoshana's big moment, was going into there. But maybe the audience thought, oh my God, the awkward girl makes an entrance at school and you know,
runs into the pit. Yeah.
Runs into the pit. Well, then you did 9 after Noises Off, of course, you did 9 to 5. I mean, one of my favorite musicals. I mean, I spoke to all of you so much during that show. I mean,
it was so much fun.
I mean, Dolly Parton. I mean, I'm going to mention that name to you. What was it like working with and getting to know Dolly Parton?
Deeply impactful. Watching her work totally like affected me in the most positive way. She has this thing about her. Like, she walks in the room and the temperature changes, you know, in the best possible way. Like she's incredibly supportive of everybody. It's this really wonderful thing where she gets business done. Like nobody's going to pull anything on Dolly, but at the same time, she knows how to treat everybody with the most respect. When she is talking to you, it is as if you are the only person in the world that matters. It's remarkable to watch her and the effect that she has on people. So ever since those days, I've always thought, well, what would she do in this situation? Because that's what all of our goals should be. And if all of our goals were to be like Dolly, the world would be a better place. You know, she knows how to get things done and to treat people with the respect they deserve.
Do you remember the first time you had to sing for her?
Yeah. Well, she came to see Wicked in Los Angeles. And it was kind of like to get her blessing, you know, like Bob Greenblatt and Joe Mantello brought her. And I was like, I was really nervous, you know, and I was like, don't worry, you know, you're not going to be able to see her. You know, it's just this sea of darkness. Of course, as soon as I go out there, I see her cotton candy white hair. And to this day, if I'm nervous, which I'm nervous all the time, I'll look at myself in the mirror and say, you performed for Dolly Parton for years. Like for years you did, you know, like, and doing her role, if you could do that, you can handle this. Like, you're fine. But most of that is how supportive she was. You know, that wouldn't have been possible if she was at all standoffish or judgmental or any kind of thing that could be taken as rude, or, you know, like, that's just not her. So a lot of my comfortability was because she made it that way.
Yeah. Everybody who has met Dolly Parton or worked with her has an incredible story of love and generosity.
Yes.
From whatever you do, from hierarchy to the smallest job you possibly can have. She knows everybody. Yeah, really, really great.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, that was one of my favorite musicals. I loved that show. I think I saw 9 to 5 like 6 times during the run on Broadway. I loved all
I loved that show. I never saw it, but I sure loved doing it. We had the most fun. It was so great.
Yeah. Well, you know, then you got to do the role of Lorelei Lee. What an iconic role in Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, and you got to record it at encores. I mean, what was that whole experience like for you, taking on Lorelei Lee and singing those incredible Julie Stein songs?
Oh my God, that whole experience was like just a giant gift. Even the stress aside of like putting a fully mounted production together in a couple of weeks, we'll just put that to the side. But that music, that script, that like John Rando, like all of like every piece of that was so delightful. It's the only show that I look back on and I'm like, I'm not done with that. I really want more of that. So yeah, it was, and getting to record that with the orchestra, like the full, I believe it was like an 80-piece orchestra. I mean, come on, like that is, I'll never forget that. That was such an enormous gift, you know, and I'll never take that for granted. I mean, people don't do that anymore to begin with. And second, they already had recordings. They didn't have to do that. But they did, you know, and we got permission from Julie Stein's wife, and gosh, she was so lovely. And I could go on and on and on about how much I love that show and I loved that experience.
Because you were so in you were so in your zone, because like I said, everyone has like Carol Channing in their left ear, they have Marilyn Monroe in their right ear, and then right down center is the new Megan Hilty, Lorelei Lee. You just so found her and made her your own.
Thank you so much. That was my goal, was to like find the middle place between those two very different styles and takes on that character. So thanks. Yeah, that was really fun.
Because I remember seeing you like a year later at Forest Hills with Matthew Morrison, the fabulous concert you did with the Pops, and you did Diamonds again. You stopped the show all over again. I mean, they don't write them like that anymore.
You know who does write them like that? Mark Shaman and Scott Whitman.
Oh yeah.
They write them like that.
Showstoppers.
Yeah, they write them like that. Yeah.
Well, you know, let's move on to Smash, because like I said, I mean, here is the thing about Smash. You know, I fell in love with Smash, as so many theater people did, and so many other people. But, you know, it wasn't a big hit, but yet Smash has become this worldwide phenomenon years later. This never happens. I mean, how do you put into perspective the Smash phenomenon?
First of all, I'm gonna push back a little bit on it not being a hit in the beginning. You have to look at it from a different perspective. So the biggest hit show at the time was Girls on HBO, and it had a fraction of our viewership. Yeah. It was considered a hit because, I mean, it was wildly popular, but for that station, they don't require as many viewers because the lack of advertising. They generate their money in a different way. For network, I mean, we needed to have everybody in the country watching live for it to be lucrative because of the advertising and it was just so costly. We did have a huge audience. We did. There were a lot of people watching it. But now that it's off the air, you're right. It has found an even bigger audience. with streaming, and people can binge it. That was right before all of that really started. And so once we went off the air, it accessed a whole new group of people. And I am not kidding that when every single day that passes, I am asked about the future of that show.
Yeah.
By strangers. Every single day. We've been off the air for what, 7 years? Every single day, people are still really interested in these characters and these stories and these music, the songs and the music performances and stuff. It's really remarkable. And I'm so proud to be a part of that too, that brought a little piece of Broadway into people's homes every week, and still does, apparently.
Yeah. Well, in 2015, the cast reunited for the live Bombshell in Concert, which was a fundraiser for the Actors Fund, which blew the roof off the theater. And you just recently reunited again when it live streamed again for the Actors Fund, raising even more money. And you all got together in May. What was it like connecting with the cast again for you?
It was really awesome. It was really, I'm so glad that we were able to raise more money for the Actors Fund that is so desperately needed right now. I'm so glad that we were able to be a part of that. But yeah, on a selfish level, it was so delightful seeing everybody's faces and hearing all these stories and reliving those days. That was really what you also didn't see. It was that I got to, it inspired a whole nother Zoom party of the crew that I got to go see. The people on the crew are your family members, so it was nice to see all of these people who weren't in the spotlight, but really made that show happen. It was a really great excuse for everybody to catch up and see how everybody's doing and relive those days a little bit. It was really awesome.
Well, let's also put it out in the forefront again, because the day after that, there was word traveling around that Smash is back on the boards again. Bombshell is back on the boards. I mean, have they told you anything, or any inkling of anything, or stay tuned, or?
They have told me that something's in the works. Nobody has asked me to do it. Nobody has asked me to be a part of it. So I obviously wish them well on whatever it is that they plan on doing. But as of this moment, I am not not involved. So it's wonderful that these stories will live on in some capacity.
Well, like I said, there's the two of you and Kat. There's no one else. I'm just putting that on the line right now. There's no one else who can do Ivy. Just so you know, those characters. Jessie Mueller was here a few weeks ago. I adore my Jessie too. I know you do too.
Oh, obsessed. Yeah.
Okay, she's obsessed with you too, because we talked about doing the Lifetime movie, Patsy and Loretta, and she said, Megan. I mean, just the two of you together. I mean, you two took on these iconic country western stars. You, of course, doing Patsy Cline, she doing Loretta Lynn. You were in this together, making this magic. How rewarding and how daunting was it taking on Patsy Cline and singing her songs?
So luckily, I kind of have a history of taking on other people's previously made iconic roles, and so I've made a practice of coming to terms with the fact that I'm not going to please everyone, and what I bring to the table is enough. That's my mantra. I will do research, and I will continue research until the film or the show is done. I did that with Smash too. I was constantly reading about Marilyn and watching things and stuff. I think just coming to terms with that is a really big deal. I'm not Patsy Cline. I don't have her voice. I don't have her, but what I can do is do as much research as I can. And I did, and I still do. She's a fascinating person. Everybody should be interested in her life story. And then figure out what I connect to in her, the character of her, I guess. And figuring out a blend of the two, so that, because if you don't bring yourself to it, it's not honest. Like, it's not, so it won't be moving, it won't be touching, it won't be funny, it won't be any of those things, because you're simply trying to be like somebody else. So I learned that in in Wicked, really, because I was so terrified that, because I just graduated college, you know, I was like, I don't deserve to be here. So I'll just try to do what I remember Kristen doing, or what I remember, or what I see Jennifer doing every night. You know, I'll just try to do what they, and then the stage manager was like, you need to not watch the show. You can't do what Jennifer's doing. You got to make this your own. And from that, I was like, okay. It was like somebody gave me permission to be myself, you know. And from that moment on, it was like, oh, I need to figure out how to pay homage and hit those marks that are expected and what makes this character what it is. But the rest is me. It has to be. Otherwise, without the honesty, it's nothing. It's not. Yeah.
I would think you would
really
take
long-winded answer. Sorry.
No, I love that. I would think you would take the big brush strokes of Patsy and then add your brush strokes into it to create Megan's version of Patsy Cline, which I'm sure, you know, Jessie did the same thing. What was it like working with Jessie?
A dream. It was an absolute dream. Yeah. And I was told as much before. I didn't know her before. I was a fan like everybody else. And I'd met her like in passing at a couple of things. And we have two very close mutual friends in Carly Hughes and Stephanie Block. And so when I started hearing that they were approaching her for it, I was like, can you ask her if it's okay if I did that thing where I was like, can you ask her if it's okay if you give me her number, like her consent, so that I can bully her into doing it to me? And then and it ended up working out, and both Carly and Stephanie were like, oh, this is gonna be great. Like the two of you together, just on a personal level, like this makes a lot of sense. And we went on a little date in Nashville once we were both there, and it was just easy. She is so, anybody who knows her knows what I'm talking about. Like she's one of those people. Well, for me too, like she's one of those people for me where we have a shorthand immediately. Like it seems like it was very, very easy to communicate just in general, because it just felt like we were on the same wavelength. I don't know how else to explain it.
Yeah.
But oh gosh, I would give anything to go back to that set. Everybody, like the actors, the crew, like everybody, we were so upset when it was over. It felt like we were shooting a series that was meant to continue. She's a magical person. And I know I always, I've been spending a lot of time talking about the magical women I work with. I've been really fortunate to be a part of so many shows that focus on really strong female leads. And this, what I really loved about Patsy and Loretta was this narrative of two women in show business that love and support each other. And it's still interesting. Yeah. You know, we're always fed this idea that with women, there can only be one, you know, and so we're all battling for that one position. And that is just not the case. I don't know that in my life. Clearly from this conversation, all I'm talking about are the amazing female friends that I've worked with and stayed close with. That's what I know. So to finally see a script that celebrates that, and showcases that, and shows that it's not without its like dimensions, you know, it's not all love like any relationship, it's complicated. But it's all rooted in that love and support. Sorry, I'm just talking nonstop.
Oh, I love this. This is what we do. It's a conversation. Like I said, it's a fabulous movie for anybody. You can stream it on Lifetime, and you should also listen to the soundtrack of these two women. I mean, just listening to you and Jessie sing all these iconic songs is pretty amazing. Oh, really great.
Me and Seth figured out a little mashup of Patsy Cline stuff that we'll be doing on Sunday as well. Sunday and Monday, I guess.
I have goosebumps that just ran up my body again as you mentioned everything that's going to happen on Sunday. You know, you record and tour with your husband. How incredible is it performing and touring with Brian?
So the beginning of our relationship, he went out on the road with Jekyll and Hyde, and we were like, never again. We can't do that. Like, this is never happening ever again. And so now we travel together. Well, we used to travel together. Now we're just together.
Does the whole family go?
A lot of the times, yeah, it makes sense. Especially when it was just us and Vi. She came everywhere with us. Once Ronan came into the picture, it got more complicated. And now that Vi's in school and stuff, like it's, you know, that became more complicated. So now it's mostly just me. And sometimes if it's the whole band and I'm not singing with like a symphony orchestra, then Brian will come. You know, if Nana will come and babysit. Like, there's a lot of things that have to happen now for us to go out on the road together. But yeah, if we can, we like to bring everybody.
Yeah. I just love, because I've seen all your concerts together when you first got together and everything else. And it just must be so wonderful and joyful and just so, it's like you're singing, the two of you, it's like you're in your living room when you watch the two of you in concert.
I'm so glad you said that, because that's my whole intent. I mean, for these shows, I never ever wanted to do one person shows. They made me uncomfortable. And I was like, what do I have to say? Like, I don't have like a beginning, middle, and end. I don't have some wisdom to impart to anybody. Who am I to be saying that anyway? Once I started realizing that people just wanted to get to know us, you know, whoever they're seeing, I thought the best way to get to know me is if I'm surrounded by people on stage that bring out who I actually am. So all of the people in my band are very close friends. And Matt Cuson, who's my music director, he has a microphone on. I mean, he's an incredible singer-songwriter in his own right. So I forced him to sing with me so that everybody can be aware of his crazy talent. So he and my husband have microphones on. They can talk at any point in the show, you know, to just kind of keep me grounded, keep me, you know, and that way I'm hoping the audience can feel like they're actually getting a piece of me and who I am instead of what I just want you to see. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, I have anchors of what I'm going to talk about, but nothing scripted. I don't feel authentic by reciting a script, you know?
Yeah. Well, I want to give a big shout out to your husband, Brian Gallagher. For anybody who wants to get introduced to an incredible singer-songwriter, go to Amazon. His album's incredible. Did he write the musical Brownstone?
He did. Yeah. Oh gosh, I can't wait. I don't want to give away too much of like the concept because it's really awesome. And I'm hoping that like he can get with some producers that can make this happen, because especially when we come back from our COVID break, you know, his concept for how to put Brownstone on its feet is groundbreaking. Like it's next level, you know. And I'm just so excited for the future of that. He actually wrote another musical and he came out with a single yesterday or the day before. Yeah. It's so good. And it's part of this new musical that he's written that also has an outside of the box kind of concept. I'm just so excited for him. He's so talented, and I can't wait to see where these things go. Because they're just such amazing ideas, and they're so well execued.
What's the new single that Brian dropped yesterday?
Oh God.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot here.
No, because it's a part of let me look this up, because if you ask me my sister's name right now, I could not tell you. Where did it go?
That's fine. Because I know there's also anybody watching, you can see them sing some numbers in Brownstone on YouTube or whatever else. And like I said, Brian's album is available at Amazon. Really, really incredible.
Yes. Yeah. Oh my God. Now I'm going to get in so much trouble.
Oh, I don't mean to get too much trouble.
If I say goodbye,
Okay.
If I say goodbye tomorrow, no, you'll be just fine. Yeah, it's really. I listened to it. He wrote it while we were filming in Nashville. And I was like, are we okay? Like, I took it very personally. I was like, what's wrong? Or like, what happened? Are we? He was like, no, it's not us. And it's very hard not to take stuff like that.
That's why the song fell out of your head. That's why it fell out of your head.
Well, no, so, I could name you a million of his songs. I just.
No, everybody wants you to go look for that song. Just type him in. It's incredible. Like I said, the songs you do from Brownstone. Oh, fabulous. I love this.
If I say goodbye.
This is great. My final question for you is, what have you learned the most about yourself during this stay-at-home time?
I need to work more on my patience.
Really?
I need to be a more patient person. Yeah. Yeah. I definitely let my anxieties get the best of me, and I need to work on my patience to be a better mom and a better partner and a better, and I need to I don't know if this is true, but I feel like I need to trust that everything's going to be okay. Seeing my once very full calendar go to empty and then start panicking about like, well, what does that mean for like keeping food on the table? Yeah. And like, these are very, very real. And I have to stress that I understand that people are now homeless because of this. Like I'm highly privileged. But my anxiety, I have to be better about managing that, knowing that somehow things will work out.
Yeah.
Trusting that and not letting my anxieties get in the way of being patient and tolerant with things that are little things that are happening in my house. I took up painting. I do like paint by numbers. I quarantined with my best friend Hughes, and I've forced her into this like paint by numbers thing. Like we'll probably post something about it because it's so calming. Like I ordered these little art kits for my kids. This art studio was going out of business, so to help them, they were making little art kits for kids, and I was like, "Can I get one for myself too?" I was like, and he put this like paint by numbers thing. I made this gorgeous elephant that I'm very proud of, and now I'm like, I need to be painting all of the time. So that's my new thing.
Well, I thank you for being so honest, talking about anxiety. Millions and millions of people around the world feel the same way. What's great about you and everybody else I've spoken to, when I ask them that question, everyone sort of has the same answer, but it's so nice for them to put it onto someone they know and saying, oh, Megan feels that way, or Cheyenne feels that way, or Elaine Page feels that way. I can feel that way, and we'll all get through this together when this all ends. So I want to thank you, first of all. This hour flew by so fast. Look at this.
Is it already over?
It's over. So what I'd like to say is, once again, Megan Hilty will be doing her virtual online concert with Seth Rudetsky this Sunday night, July 26th, live at 8 p.m. with a replay on Monday, July 27th at 3 p.m. Tickets are available at Broadway World Events and SethConcerts.com. Megan, we're going to close out with Let Me Be Your Star from your Bombshell live in concert. And like you said, no one writes a showstopper better than Scott Whitman and Mark Shaman. So love to your family. Have the best time Sunday night. And I will see you when the theater is back, bigger and better than ever. And I can actually see you in person. I can't wait for that day. Thank you so much for this. This has been pure joy this last hour. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy Megan Hilty. Let Me Be Your Star. Take care. You're gonna start with it all.